Hi, it's Dave here. I've got a Blackstar ID Core Stereo 100 amplifier. I play an African style guitar which is played on a clean channel with a bit of reverb and delay, and I find that the high notes, the upper registers, can get a little bit harsh and icepicky. Decided a speaker upgrade will probably solve this issue. Here I have the Jensen Chicago series. This is a 10-inch 70-watt 8-ohm speaker. The model is 1070. It's known as the Mod series in the US. The original speakers are a Chinese brand, 50-watt 8-ohm speaker. I've got some recordings before, I'll do some recordings after, and we'll also go through the installation. So here's the setup. I'm using a single MXL 990 microphone connected to the Focusrite Scala interface. I don't have two microphones, but I have disabled super wide stereo using the Blackstar Architect software. Also using Architect, you can see the value of each of the dials. I'm using a clean warm voice. The gain is at 4, the volume at 6. The bass, middle, treble and ISF are all at 5. I'm using a plate reverb with a size of 6.1 and a level of 6, and the master volume is quite low. There's no post-processing, it's just straight from the microphone into the DAW. And I'm using the neck pickup in humbucking mode, and the tone and volume are on max. Here's some recordings with the original stock speakers. Now with the installation, you have to remove all of the screws around the outside edge of the rear cover, as shown. And those 3 screws there, you don't need to remove those. Now I like to keep a template of which screw comes from where. Sometimes the screws could be different lengths, but in this case they're all the same, except the 3 screws attached to the metal panel at the top. The background music is a recording of mine of the Fideli Williams song Taxi Driver from Kenya. And just go ahead and remove the other screws. So once they've been removed, the rear cover has got like a gasket material and it might be a little bit stuck. So So I'd suggest using a plastic pry tool. This is actually an automotive trim removal tool. It just avoids damaging the metal and the vinyl. Here's another one. And just try to wedge it in and pry the rear cover off. You can see it's coming away a little bit easier. I've already had the rear cover off to check the original speakers. And the same at the other side. And then it can just be pulled away. And you can see those 3 screws that we didn't remove are actually holding that bit of wood on. You probably can't see, it's not very clear, but the red wire is going to the positive terminal, the black wire to the negative, and the white wire is going to the positive terminal, and the blue wire is going to the negative. You can see that the negative and positive are different sizes, the negative being a little bit smaller. On the Jensen speakers, they're both the same size, the smaller size. And you'll see that the larger connector does manage to fit on alright. And just remove the plastic covers, and then you'll need to use a little pointy tool to push down in the middle to help to remove the connector, and then it just pops off with a bit of wiggling. And the same with the other side. Now with the trusty chopstick, you can see there's 4 screws. They've got like a glue holding them. So just remove them and clean them up a little bit. And then remove the speaker. They're actually from Chunil Corporation, Chinese company. There's a model, it's a 50-watt 8-ohm speaker. I'll put a link for this specification in the description. And the same for the other one. And then just fit the Jensen speakers. I got them from a place called Hot Rocks UK, very nice people there. This is the Jensen Chicago series. It's known as the Mod series in the US, and it's the model 1070. It's a 10-inch 70-watt 8-ohm speaker. I'll put all the links in the description. And just simply screw them down. And the same with the other side. and connect up the connectors there. You see you've got the black one, the smaller connector going to the negative, and the larger connector going to the positive side of the speaker. You can see it's a little bit big, but it kind of fits on and it's secure. That's the main thing. And the same with the other side. You've got the blue as the negative. And the original speakers, the connections were the opposite, so you might find the white wire is a little bit shorter, so you might need to put a bit of slack from the zip tie. So just make sure they're connected and there's enough slack on the wires, and then you can put on the little plastic covers. And there's the close-up of the original speaker connector, just to confirm that the smaller connector is actually the negative side and the larger is the positive. There is actually a plus and minus symbol. And there they are installed. I put a bit of hot melt glue around the screws. And just zooming in on the connectors. And you can see that the minus fits very well, and the positive is a little bit big, but it's secure, and that's the main thing. And the same on the other side as well. You can see the blue wire is going to the negative side and a little bit big on the white, but it's secure. So while we've got the cover off, we can just go around and have a look at the other parts. That's a power supply, Meanwell Enterprises. I presume they must mean well. And here's the main circuitry for the amplifier. It looks quite small, but it's all based around the digital signal processing chip. How technology has changed. And then just to replace the rear panel. Just give it a good push, make sure it's secure. and then reinstall all the screws. And just give them a last little tighten. You don't need to over tighten, but just make sure that they're snug. And there it is. It can be awarded the Jensen Equip tag. So now you'll hear some recordings from the Jensen speakers with the same settings that was used before. So in conclusion, it's been a worthwhile upgrade to Jensen speakers. I'm not quite sure how much is heard in the video, but I can certainly feel that the shrill sounding, the harsh top end, and the ice pickiness has all gone using the Jensen speakers. There was very much there with the stock speakers. I hope this video will encourage others to upgrade their Blackstar ID Core Stereo 100 or 150 to Jensen speakers to try to find that sound that they're looking for.